Like, you work for Combs Enterprise. And talk about a little bit about your job, because you actually, like, created the job for yourself.
Yeah.
Which is, like, weird.
Right. So
how do we get there? Like, how do we do this?
It was Mr. Combs himself.
Was it?
Yeah.
He reached out.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Take me from the beginning.
Okay.
Like, I need to know everything.
I mean, I just want to give context. Like, I do want to highlight how special it is to be working here, especially being hand selected by Mr. Combs himself. And I call him Mr. Combs because, you know,
you do.
You know, but he doesn't do the hiring. He is a chairman. We have an HR department.
Right.
You know, he sought me out. I mean, I used to do like freelance work for Revolt and other platforms, and that's when I was real personality heavy. I will never forget the day, girl. I was sitting at my desk at E1 as a coordinator, and I get a DM at 11 a.m. That's literally as like 15 minutes after I sit down at my desk, like, oh, another day at work.
Right.
He's like, what kind of hustler are you? Good morning, by the way.
Diddy. Stop.
The first DM ever.
Did you ever look and like, no.
Girl, I saw that shit.
Who's running this account?
I popped up out of my seat and ran 3 laps around the office. Oh
my God. I quit.
Yo. I was like, y'all don't even know what just happened.
Oh my
They're like,
God.
what? I'm like, Puff just followed me. And they're like, and I'm like, you don't know what this means to me. You don't know what this means to me.
Alyi V.
Yes.
Rivera. Can I say Rivera?
Sí.
Yo, Alyi V, you're such a real one, because I literally told you to pull up. You didn't ask questions. You didn't, like, what in the world?
I know. You know what's so crazy? Like, usually I don't do this, but
you don't.
Only for Alyi. Because Alyi will do anything for me.
That's a fact.
Like I said, I think the other day you were like, I owe you, da-da-da. Like, this owe you thing
doesn't even exist.
No, we're locked in for life.
For sure. And so let me just tell you why you're even here.
Okay, tell me why.
Is
there a surprise?
Because you don't even know.
Is Mark Anthony going to pop out at any moment? Like,
And then it's crazy because, like, I tell people all the time, like, you're my friend in real life. So how do you prep to interview your friend, your sister, honestly? So I didn't prep today at all because we're going with the flow. And the show is called Growing Up Latina. And so this show, I created this show just to give us like a platform so we can be seen, be heard, and be loud. Because oftentimes I feel like we are overlooked. And I got tired of that. And like, we're everywhere. Like, you have a dope job. And we're going to get into that. But your job is lit. And we hold powerful positions, but no one would know. And so this is the platform for that. So shout out to you.
Oh, thank you.
Now, you and I, we've been friends for
a lot.
It's been a little minute.
Definitely more than 4.
Way more than 4. No, we became family.
Yeah, like 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago. But
damn, I don't know. I don't even remember how we met.
You reached out to me.
I remember now. Okay.
I was on Sirius XM Radio, and you emailed me. And you was heavy with the email because you was emailing everybody at that time.
It was giving copy-paste.
It was giving, listen, I'm a hustler.
I was like, I'm going to swap out the name. Hey, Alyi.
Yeah. But you was really hustling. Like, you really just wanted this different type of life for yourself. So just tell everybody, like, who you were even before you became young body.
You feel me?
But you've been young body for a minute, which I love.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, I was like kind of like a few degrees away from the industry. I grew up dancing into the theatrics and the whole nine. One of my closest family members, who is currently like one of the top choreographers in the industry, choreographed for Beyonce's Grammys, Rihanna, et cetera, et cetera. She put me under her wing, and I used to go to Harlem and dance and practice, and like that was my thing. Like I really thought I was gonna be a backup dancer. Like I was just in awe. That was like my passion, and life pivoted for me because my dad was just looking at the future of my life, and he was like, figure it out.
Right.
And I had to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, I took that passion, and it brought me to the career of being a dance teacher. And people don't know that I used to work with kids for like many years.
But how old were you? Just give me an age.
I was like,
if you can give me an age,
between 19 to 23, and that was all while I was in college.
Okay, dope.
And I was pursuing liberal arts. I had no idea what radio was. I had no radio dreams.
Okay.
No radio dreams.
Which I always find interesting, by the way.
Right.
We'll get to that, but yes.
It was just, I don't know, like my mind was going everywhere but there. My mom always told me when I was like a child that I always said, I want to be a superstar. I want to be J-Lo. I want to be a superstar. But like, what does that mean?
Right. Right.
So I remember I had a blog, and I would write about my friends because my friends were lit or they were about to blow up. And, I would always talk about what's going on in culture. I was very bunchy cheddar. Like, oh my God, they broke up. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, how do I elevate this?
Mm-hmm.
And one of my ex-boyfriends at the time, God bless him, he was like, I think you should try radio. Like, he was like, you have the personality. Like, this is already something that you talk about. Like, why has that never, like, crossed your mind? And I was like, I don't know, but I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately I took action. I transferred schools. I went from Queens College to Brooklyn because Brooklyn had a great radio program.
Okay. And you were living in Brooklyn at this time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I was going to Queens. So I would travel like damn near 2 hours to Queens College.
Right.
Which, when I was at Queens, I was a great student. Because I became introverted though. Because I didn't have a lot of friends.
Because you're so like... I always say Alyi V Rivera is the energy.
I know.
Like, you are like the life of the party. You're the person that's like, we want to see you.
I know. It was so weird for me.
Are you an introvert?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, to be honest, it was a big culture change for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that school was dominantly Jews and Indians.
Okay.
And I've been to school up to my senior year in high school with Caribbeans and Dominicans and Puerto Ricans.
Okay.
So I was just like, whoa, like they're looking at me and I'm looking at them. Like, it's only like 5 black people, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I'm gonna chill in this corner.
Mm-hmm.
But it naturally made me introverted, and I was just exploring myself. I didn't know my direction yet, you know? So I transferred to Brooklyn College, and I'm like, whoo, what a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? I have a goal. There's people that look like me.
Mm-hmm.
There's no weirdness, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I started to plummet, but educationally. Like, I started interning at the radio station there, and you have to get your own show, you need a intern for 3 months. So I did that, qualified, got my own show, and that was it. That was it. And I was heavy with the promo. I made my own graphics, my own flyers, my own videos.
I remember your campaign shoot for the show. You had the glasses, right?
Yep.
With the fur?
Yep.
You was giving J-Lo vibes.
I always gave J-Lo. I channeled her my
Well,
entire
what is
life.
it about J-Lo for you?
Because
you really do like you're a fan. Have you met her?
Never.
You would die.
I would die. I would cry.
Yeah.
I'll have nothing to say to her.
Really?
I would have nothing to say to her.
Oh my God.
Like, what do I say? Where do I start?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And
I
would never want to fumble that opportunity. But what it was for me was she was my first example of being Puerto Rican, from New York, fly as hell, doing what she wanted, not giving a flying.
Right.
She was multifaceted.
Mm-hmm.
She was a dancer. We related. She got into entertainment. She had her own perfume, her own clothes.
Did it
She has a
all.
production company. Like, she was literally tick, 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 going crazy.
All
and
on the six.
She was
all while on the
bagging
six.
fly top celebrities.
Yeah.
I was like, she is it. She is the it girl. It's something about her. I want to be like that. Like, she's a boss.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, I just always gravitated to her outside of her beauty, you know? Like, she was jaw-dropping. Is till today.
At 50, 3 now?
Jesus Christ.
Like, I always say J-Lo for me, because I love J-Lo as well. And everyone would ask me, like, what is it that you want to do? And there were so many things that I wanted to do. So I always look at J-Lo because I'm like, but she did many things, but successfully. It wasn't like she was whack at this and good. No, like, she did everything. It was like a whole thing for her.
And what's crazy about J-Lo, I don't know if you watched her documentary Halftime,
Of course,
but it just proved how overlooked and underrated she is. But she still is so successful. And that's how I feel about me. Like, I do feel like,
why?
Well, I don't know. Like, I've always felt like an underdog. I've always felt overlooked.
I don't feel that about you. I felt that about you in the beginning.
Yes.
In the beginning, I felt like, damn, she's so dope and no one's really like paying attention. But now I feel like people are paying attention.
Yes. I also have a bit of imposter syndrome.
También.
See. I have a lot of bit of that. And that is my battle today. You know, like making sure that how people perceive me is matching how I perceive myself.
Right.
I know that I'm dope. Like, let's not get up. But sometimes I sit in shock. Like, is this my life right now?
Right.
Like, how did I even get here? You know, because it all happened in like such a whirlwind for me. Like,
I always say it takes a little minute to happen, but when it happens, it happens. Like that.
Like that. And I have such a, like, I'm not going to say a fear, but I'm like, I don't want to let this go. And that is how I got into like everything. Because I'm like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And
figured it out.
I figured it out. You
figured it out.
It was crazy.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, me and Ivy, we go to every city and cry. Legit. Legit. Miami, Atlanta, LA, Houston. Oh my God. We always cry.
And happy tears.
It's happy tears because it's like, I can't believe we're living the life that we've always, like, you and I have been speaking for a minute.
Yeah.
And like, you know my dreams, I know yours. And then we're like.
And furthermore, people don't know what we go through to get there. Oh, man.
It's a lot.
Man, I feel like my most pivotal life experience, and you were a big part of that, was Atlanta. I'm not going to dig too deep.
Okay.
But you know the specifics about that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it was very life-changing for me. It like built like a fire in me where it was like, oh no, girl, you better go figure out a home that empowers you. You know,
I legit saw people try to take you down. And I almost felt up about it too, because there was nothing I could do to like help you.
Right. But
and
it was nothing for you to do.
But it was weird because I was in a weird predicament. So I was like, damn, like, we're in the same room, but we're not being seen the same way. And it fucked me up.
And it was so crazy because, like, I hate to talk about what I did and what but it was like, yo,
you did a lot.
First of all, I don't like when people act like they found a gem. I brought the gem.
So wait, let me.
This is my sister. Like,
yo. So let me just go, because a lot of people even ask me, how did you meet Little Kim? How did that relationship start? And I tell people all the time, it was Ivy Rivera. Ivy put me on to Kim. And not once did you hate on the situation. not once did you tell me. If anything, you looked at me and was like, girl, you got this. And I would call you like, I don't know if I could do this. This is a big job. And you really like held me down throughout it all. We're not doing this.
We're not doing this.
We're not doing. No, but for real, Ivy, like people really don't understand like how pivotal you are to this industry. And like, honestly, I do not want to cry. I don't want to cry.
I don't want to cry either, girl. This beat is giving.
I know it's giving. It's really giving. But you really are like, because I've seen you grow so much. I don't want to do this right now.
No, Alyi, stop.
I know. I know. That's why I didn't even want to do this interview. I didn't want to interview Ivy. Everywhere. I said I don't want to interview Ivy because every time we cry everywhere.
Everywhere.
Because I feel like we I don't want to do this.
We need an intermission.
No, but I'm just so proud of you, girl.
Thank you.
Like, for real, like, you are just, you did that shit.
Thank you.
For real. And so I just want people to, like, really know the story because I just feel like, especially being a Latina, right? Like, in this industry, and it's so male-dominated. It's so, like, it's crazy, but you've made like your own lane, right? Like even with like Puff, like you work for Combs Enterprise, and talk about a little bit about your job because you actually like created the job for yourself, which is like weird,
right? So
how do we get there? Like how do we do this?
It was Mr. Combs himself.
Was it?
Yeah,
he reached out.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Take me from the beginning.
Okay.
So, like I need to know everything.
I mean, I just want to give context. Like, I do want to highlight how special it is to be working here, especially being hand selected by Mr. Combs himself. And I call him Mr. Combs because, you know,
you do.
You know, but he doesn't do the hiring. He is a chairman. We have an HR department.
Right.
You know, he sought me out. I mean, I used to do like freelance work for Rivera and other platforms. And that's when I was real personality heavy. I will never forget the day, girl. I was sitting at my desk at E1 as a coordinator. And I get a DM at 11 a.m. That's literally as like 15 minutes after I sit down at my desk like, oh, another day at work.
Right.
He's like, what kind of hustler are you? Good morning, by the way.
Puff? Diddy. Stop.
The first DM ever.
Did you ever look and like, no.
Girl, I saw that shit.
Who's running this account?
I popped up out of my seat and ran 3 laps around the office. Oh my God.
I quit.
Yo. I was like, y'all don't even know what just happened.
Oh my
They're like,
God.
what? I'm like, Puff just followed me. And they're like, and I'm like, you don't know what this means to me. You don't know what this means to me.
And
like,
yo, you almost manifested it, by the way, because on your Instagram, you would do like photo shoots as Puff.
Yes.
Which was like bizarre to me.
Yo, the way I channeled J-Lo, I channeled Puff. Like, J-Lo and Puff was my favorite couple of all time. I hate to be weird about it. Like,
no, for real.
That, it was everything. Like, I channeled her ambition with his hustle. Like, I just loved everything about
It's like
them.
if J-Lo and Diddy
had a child. Hello? Yo. So, nah, dead ass. So, I would never say that, like, to him. But if he hears this, my bad, I don't mean to be creepy. But,
right.
He reached out to me, and I gave him the whole, I do. I would love
over DM.
Yes, over DM. And, you know, every time we tell the story, he'd be like, yo, I promise you I wasn't being creepy. He never was creepy. Ever, ever, ever. And I remember saying, like, I would love to further this conversation in person. You know? And I would keep tabs. One thing I learned from Charlamagne is be DJ Khaled annoying about your dreams.
Absolutely.
You never, oh, you too busy. Oh, don't assume for nobody. You better go
Absolutely.
crazy. So
Absolutely.
every city I would go to, and I'll be like, hey, I'm in Atlanta. Are you here? Hey, I'm in LA. Are you here? And one day we were in the same city. You was with me.
Where?
You was with me.
When? How come? Why am I just finding out?
Were you with me? No, you wasn't with me. I'm sorry. Spliff was with me. Spliff was with me.
When? But where?
In LA. It was BET weekend.
No,
BET Awards. No, you wasn't there. You wasn't there. I'm gonna tell you the story.
I'm like,
Mary J. Blige was being honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award. It was 2019, and he was on set 45 minutes away from me, doing like a commercial for her, like the honorary thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, I'm on set. Meet me right now. I'm literally fresh out the gym, sweaty, stink.
Right.
The record time I got ready, you know how long it takes for me to get ready. I was like, yo, I'm 45 minutes away. Are you still going to be there? He was like, oh, maybe another time. I said, I'm on my way.
That's right.
Get ready. My Uber, like, you know how everything is against you in a very important time. Like, my Uber was driving wild slow, bro.
You were like, could you speed it up?
Yo, my heart was out my chest. Like, hurry up. I'm sweating. I'm not even at my full potential of being like ready,
right?
You know, because I had a rush, and I made it. And coincidentally, when I arrived, he was standing outside. So he saw me, welcomed me, introduced me to everybody. He's in his dressing room. I will never forget this. He's in his dressing room. He has 2 cameramen, Gaito and Jack Bannon. And we're still cool to this day.
Okay.
And he's in this dressing room with a jade roller. A young lady is rolling his eyes.
Amazing.
Touching him up.
Right.
And he goes, so tell me your story from the beginning. I told him my story from the beginning.
Did your heart drop? Because my heart would.
No,
He was ready for that moment.
I was ready for this moment. I literally prayed about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I'm not fumbling this bag.
No.
He could smell fear.
Right.
He only wants the fearless.
That part.
You know? So I told him my story. I was like, look, I am ready to do whatever. Put me in, coach. He's like, we're going to figure it out for you. It took us 3 years to figure it out for me. But I kept tabs. And I will never forget the first time he called me. The first time meeting him, the first time he called me, I was in a nail salon getting a pedicure. And I get a random, you know, New York. Hello? Like,
very New York.
Yeah. It was Alyi V. I'm like, yeah, who this? It's like, it's Puff. I'm like, hi.
Yeah. It changes. The tone changes.
What's up? And he put me on 3-way with this gentleman named Tariq, who is today the president of Combs Enterprises. And he was like, Tariq, I need you to be our bridge of communication. Keep tabs on her. Let's figure her out. And at the time, I was working with Avion and Martel. So I had exclusivity. I was in a whole situation that couldn't even bring me there yet. I did my due diligence of keeping in touch with Tariq. Every time I went to LA, I was like, yo, let's do coffee, anything. Just 10 minutes of your time. I just want to, establish that relationship with you.
Right. You was cultivating.
I was, what?
You was cultivating.
I'm not going to let this fall.
Right.
So, this is about to be 2 years now. I think that's 2020. Yeah.
So during the pandemic. So pandemic.
Right before the pandemic.
Okay.
So
okay.
2019. Yes,
okay.
it was. October 31st, I called Tariq. I'm like, yo, October 31st, my contract with Avion and Martel ends.
Okay, so Halloween.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Dia de los Muertos.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah.
And I will never forget because when I did that Dia de los Muertos shoot, Dia de Labori.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
Avion was waiting for me to have the product and I didn't have nothing. They said, something's up. November 1st, I got a contract. And during that time, they were like, what do you do now? What do you want to do? And how can we implement that into your job here? So I was like, this is what I do for Avion. This is what I like to do. what do we call that?
Right.
You know, my title at Alyi and Martell was a culture manager or something like that. Yeah, it was culture manager. So now I am the culture and lifestyle specialist at Combs Enterprises, which basically means I am on all brands under that umbrella. Revolt, Ciroc and Deleon, all things personal to Puff, Love Records. Like, I'm implemented in everything. I'm empowered to do anything. You know,
You're
like
outside.
This is the first job, and it's such a 180 for me being, you know, an executive, a growing executive at my previous job where I was kind of like, you got to choose one thing.
Right.
You can't host this. You can't be a brand ambassador for that. You can't. And
right.
I was like, absolutely, do it all, girl. It was such a, you know, and to be brought in by the man himself.
Crazy.
Like,
crazy.
Life-changing.
It's so funny because we were in, where were we, Miami?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had like a moment with you. We were on the balcony, remember? Oh, and of course we cried. And we were like, look at our lives. We can't believe this. And I remember telling you, like, Ivy, should I quit my day job? Remember?
Mm-hmm.
That was like my biggest question because I had a day job and I was like, you know, it's not hindering me, but it's also like hindering me at the same time because I'm like, I need to get to the next level. And
what I said,
Ivy, should I quit my day job? What do you think? And you never forget what you told me. You said, if you keep your day job, you're not the hustler that I thought you were.
Oof.
And that
gave me goosebumps.
Yo, that changed my entire world. I said, wow. It was like Lil Sis. It was like Lil Sis talking to Big Sis. I was like, whoa. I was like,
that's a fact though.
Like when you said that, it like touched me in a, like I was like, okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So when you said that, it just reminded me of like your story with Puff because it was like a similar conversation. And it's almost like I felt challenged at that moment, but it was real because I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta do it all the way, no holding back.
All in.
All in. And you've always went all in on everything.
You have to.
Yo, I don't know you to be like half on anything.
Not at all. If my name is attached to it, I'm seeing it through. I'm lifting shit, doing it
no matter what, though.
No matter what. In a dress and heels, I don't care.
You really don't. And you've been through a lot in this industry. And to see you and how far, like, I mean, you've progressed a lot. And you've had multiple challenges. Like,
yeah.
Yo.
But we don't shed light on that.
Nah, we don't. We don't. But, you know, you've definitely have had some haters for sure. Which is weird because everyone likes you.
Yeah.
But then you still got like those few that's like,
yeah. They hate
I want to see her lose.
Right.
And it's like, but why?
You know what's so crazy?
Why?
It was very challenging for me because as a Libra, we naturally care what people think. I want to be liked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say I'm going to do whatever for you to like me.
Right, right.
But when you don't like me, I am like trying to figure out why so bad.
Right.
You know?
But why? Like, why do we even care? Like,
this is where I'm at in my life. That's exactly where I'm at in my life. I don't anymore.
Now,
you don't like me? God bless you, because you will one day.
Right.
And I'll be here ready to hug you. when you're
a hug.
When you're ready to embrace me,
right?
I'm gonna be ready to embrace you because this has nothing to do with me. You have something in you that is blocking the blessing of having me in your life.
That's a fact.
Because I'm full of love. And I have so much love around me. I have no time for hate. And if I don't like you, I'm not going to pretend. And I'm going to have a valid reason behind it.
Oh, that's a fact. Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna
And
give
you
you
kind of brush
opportunity.
things off your shoulders. Like you're not. It's weird because you're like nonchalant with a lot of things. You hit me with the Alyi. I already know. When you hit me with the Alyi, I already know you're kind of like.
Because I'm very transparent from jump.
Right.
You know, and I feel like I have so much pride in everything that I do. Anybody I involve in my vision or anything affiliated with me, I'm expecting you to be on the same timing.
That's right.
So when it's off, it's a simple conversation that doesn't need much words.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, hey.
You know.
What's
understood.
Don't need to be explained.
Come on now.
Love.
Yeah, love.
Love.
I remember one time, and I tell this story often, with Angie Martinez. Remember that time she interviewed Joey Badass? And if
how could I forget?
Yeah, how could you forget? And so she had an interview with Joey, and the whole topic was, well, I don't feel like there's anyone out there doing it right now. And I'm paraphrasing, so, you know. And he was like, I disagree with that. And then you took this picture. I'll never forget.
Oh my God.
I got to bring it up.
Okay.
But whatever you're comfortable saying.
Yeah, of course.
So Power 151, which by the way, you're at
On
Power 151, which is like, yo, Ivy goes through full circle moments, but it's documented.
Yeah.
Yo, your full circle moments are documented.
Be full circling, girl.
Yo, for real. And so you take a picture at Power 151 and you said, Angie, what's good? I'll never forget. I said, whoa.
So cringe.
So cringe. But so necessary too, though, at the same time. And talk about that moment, because I felt like you were challenging her, but in a good way. It wasn't like disrespectful, because we love Angie. But it was in a way where it's like, hello, do you see us? Do you see? We love you. How could you say this? Talk about that.
So, I feel like I have never spoken about this.
You really haven't. We spoke about it off camera, but I want to speak about it now.
Okay.
If you can.
No, of
whatever
course.
You can share again.
I will say today, my relationship with Angie is such a blessing. I recently had a conversation with her that really just like upped my respect for her, because not often does Angie take time to talk to you about you, you know, and make observations that help challenge you to be better.
Right.
And that was a conversation that we had recently that I was just like, wow, like in my mind, that moment that you just mentioned was just like front in my brain. And I'm like, wow, look at God. You know, so going back to that moment, which was many, many moons ago.
Yeah, it was.
The interview and my statement came from a place of passion.
Right.
It wasn't to disrespect. That's the first thing that I will say. A few months prior to that interview, she came out with her book, My Voice.
And you actually interviewed her.
I interviewed her.
That's right.
She met me. Saw like I was fighting for that interview. I was only one of 2 interviews that made it that experience.
Right.
And her saying that she didn't see anybody who wanted it made me think of all of the interns in that room that prepare the notes, get the coffee, do the this and the that. And I was just like, wow, that's like a slap in the face almost.
Yeah.
You know, like I felt like it was delivered in a way that she probably didn't intend, but I was triggered because at that time I was so hungry, and you just met me. Not that you're supposed to remember me, you know what I'm saying? But I was just like, woo, not one person. Not one.
Yeah.
So I spoke for those people who bust their ass to get to her seat, hopefully one day, you know? And it definitely got misconstrued.
You regret it?
No.
No.
I always apologize for how it was perceived, but I know what I said, And I stand by that. I was really protecting that community of personalities who were emerging and fighting for a spot that I see with my eyes. That was like the emerging era of podcast. That was the emerging era of like blogging and radio and all of this stuff where people were really starting to take things into their own lane. And I'm just like, what's happening right now?
Yeah, like what are we?
What's happening right now?
Yeah.
So yeah, I said what I said. I will say that me pulling up. So just to give you some context, that picture that I took, that selfie I took at Power 105, I was honestly just going there to pick up concert tickets.
Okay.
And I was like, while I'm here,
selfie.
And I said it just to be culturally in tune, because that was at the height of Miley was good.
Yeah.
But the context behind that is not positive, right? My Angie was good was like a troll. I was being trolled. And I remember getting a phone call immediately.
From who?
One of my mentors.
Oh. I'm like, was it from Charlamagne?
No.
You know, I'm like,
that was even before I met Charlamagne.
Oh, I'm like,
that was right before I met Charlamagne. I'm gonna tell you how that unraveled and the lesson that I learned. They were like, yo, Alyi V, take that down. I was like, I'm not taking that down. I was like, I'll change the caption. I'm not taking it down.
Right.
And I changed the caption. I said, I want it, hashtag the Alyi V Rivera show. I'll never forget that. And they were like, you don't even know what you just did. And I shortly found out what I just did. I just felt like it was just like a black cloud over me. Like,
well, why? Because I always say, did it ruffle feathers? But you're like, yes. I wasn't trying to ruffle feathers, Alyi.
It ruffled them, honey.
Like, did it get to her? Like, was she aware of this? Like, post?
Oh, let me get to the story.
Okay. My bad, sorry.
A few months later, Charlamagne comes out with his book. This is something about books. I can't wait to see who's gonna press me at my book tour. Shit.
Right.
Like, girl. Something about books.
Right.
I press him, and that was like a very viral moment for me when we first met. I called him out.
You really pressed him.
Yeah, I was really a bully. But a bully in is like, I want this. This was before me meeting Puff. You know what I'm saying?
I remember this. And it was so crazy. Like, your hands were shaking and everything, but you still delivered the message.
I said what I said.
You didn't care.
I didn't care.
No, share that.
The worst thing you could say is no.
No, but share what you said, because you really like...
What?
And you gave receipts, girl.
Everything. Everything. Because that was one of my favorite screenshots of all time. It's in my favorites album.
It was amazing.
It was in 2015. I tweeted, Charlamagne, I would love to like be your intern or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, can we make it happen? He was like, sure. And for me, who was outside of the industry at that time, this is 2015, I'm in high school. I'm going crazy. You know when a celebrity likes your picture? Oh my God. That was me. I was like, oh, nothing came from it.
Okay.
So there was a Q&A that they had turned to the audience. And it was like a guy, like 2 people before me that was like, Charlamagne, I would love to be like your intern or something like that. And I was like, you stole my shit. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to see how he responds and use that as my segue.
You had ammo.
I had ammo.
You had ammo.
I had ammo. And
it was that war. She said, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it. So I was thinking about what I was going to say the whole time I was online. I was just like, oh my God. I had this shit pulled up. I was like tapping my phone so it don't lock.
Yeah, you was like,
I was like,
keep that light on. Is that what is going great? Nuh-uh. Go ahead.
So I don't remember what he said really, but when I got there, I was just like, you know, complimenting whatever discussion was going on, and I was just like, you know, do you give out? I was like, you say that, you know, anybody is welcome to do whatever they want. Is it that you give out empty promises or something?
You really did say that.
I said, you give out empty promises? Because 2015, you told me that you was going to be my mentor.
2015,
That's what it was. It wasn't an intern. It was being my mentor. And I was like, 2015, you said you was going to be my mentor. And this is my first time seeing your face. He was like, do I follow you? Like, everybody's like, what the f-? And shorty, Crystal.
Yeah.
Right?
Crystal.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was like, she probably got a screenshot. I was like, I do.
Mm-hmm.
How could I forget? You know? And he was like, that's when he told me, you got to be DJ Khaled annoying, da-da-da-da. I was like, all right,
no, but even before that, he said, what's your name? And you said, Alyi V Rivera. He said, I'll never forget it.
Yes.
He said, I'll never forget it.
Yep. And what's crazy is that when I got off that stage, his manager came up to me and she was like, I f with you for that. Take my number. And I got her number. And then when we were leaving, I shook his hand. He goes, what do you do? I got this going on. I'm boom, boom, boom. I was prepared. I didn't hear from him for 6 months. And I was being DJ Khaled annoying. I was always hitting him up on holidays.
Right. Happy birthday.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Happy Christmas.
All
happy
of it.
Kwanzaa. All of it.
All of it. Just trying to find a excuse to hit him up.
Right.
And actually, it was a few weeks after that Q&A. I got sent a link from one of my interns at my radio show at the time, the Alyi V Rivera show. She goes, go to 1 hour, 30 blah, blah, blah seconds. I think he's talking about you on this podcast with Roxy Diaz and Nikki Parker.
Okay.
And the subject was how social media can hurt you in your future. And he anonymously says, there was this one young lady who asked me to be her mentor, and then I find out days later that she disrespected Angie Martinez, and it showed me where her head was at. I will never forget this. Oh my God, my heart dropped.
Why is this the first time I'm hearing about this, by the way?
I don't know.
I was like, why is this the first time?
It's just something I kept to myself, I guess.
Right.
And I was like, that's when my mind started panicking. I was like, am I being blackballed? Like, the rumor is I'm disrespecting Angie Martinez. That is the tabloid line? That's crazy. So I hit him up. Hey, I heard that interview you had with blah, blah, blah. I would love to clarify. What? He called me. I explained everything. And he was like, yo, I think you need to apologize.
What was your response?
I made a video by myself, like a selfie video, apologizing. But I was like, I just want to apologize for how it was perceived. I'm always going to stand on that. I'm not apologizing for what I'm saying. I'm apologizing for how it's perceived. It comes from a place of passion. I have the utmost respect for you. You are one of my top people that I look up to. I will never disrespect you. It's not even a disrespectful bone in my body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so I was just like, he sent it to her. And she was just like, I didn't even know about this.
So it was other people making it
It was other people making it a big deal within the Power 105 building. To this day, I don't even talk to them. To this day.
And you're in the building.
And I'm in the building. And you will forever feel that darkness from me, because if I never caught that, you would have had people thinking that I was disrespectful to Angie Martinez.
Right.
That would have been the rumor, and nobody even knew who I was yet. God forbid. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was really crazy. I was nervous. I was so nervous.
But did you feel like it was necessary to make that video?
No. But I did it because I felt like he had the best advice at the time. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It was new to our relationship. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to obey your request, because if you think that this is the best thing for me to do, I'm going to do it. Okay. I'm going to eat that, you know? All right. I feel like we never spoke about it again. And it was just kind of like dust under a rug. But that saved me in a sense where it was just like he sees that I'm down to do whatever it takes and that I have good intentions.
Right.
You know?
Right.
6 months later, he's like, peace. What are you doing tomorrow? Literally. It wasn't like, Happy New Year.
No funny, nothing.
No, nothing. Peace. What are you doing
nothing
tomorrow?
Nothing weird about it.
Out of the clear blue sky. I'm like, peace. What am I doing tomorrow? He said, come to the podcast. Brilliant Idiots. And I went the next day. I remember calling Ewan. I'm going to be a little late. You know? I got something to do. And I went. And then I was on like 5 more times. And he co-signed me.
He really did.
Heavy.
He really did.
Charlamagne is such an important person in my life. I don't bother him much. He doesn't bother me much. But I know he always has an eye on me.
Like he sees you.
He sees me. He believes in me. One of the first persons to like really shout. And
he really did.
Yes. He was like, I got my money on this girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to this day, I will never take it for granted. You know, like he really was a part of like the pivot for me. You know, where people just started to really pay attention and things started to flow in. And that was also in the midst of Hustle in Brooklyn.
Girl, we didn't even touch that.
You
know what's so crazy? Like, you're so far removed from that.
I know.
For me.
Girl, I am.
That I don't even like, I don't bring it up.
I don't even remember
because I'm like, there's so much cool shit that she's done that I'm like,
oh, this was a little gig.
No, but it was, listen, every moment is a moment that leads up to that bigger moment in your life. And that moment to me was like, it was cool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I did feel like you used all your cards at the moment. Like, okay,
oh, yes.
I'm at my job, we gonna do that. I'm here, but you're known for that.
But
you're like a mastermind
let me
of
not...
like, no, for real. Like yo, every card God has dealt you, you're like, oh, that's my hand. I got a little joke. I got an ace of spades. I got this is what we're gonna play today.
No, that's 100% true. And
weird, but I love it for you. Go ahead.
I do want to not water down that moment in time for me because that is a moment that only God could plan.
1000%.
Wow. Let me tell you, this is on this episode of Full Circle Moments.
Right.
The casting director for that show at one point in her life was a singer. I was her backup dancer. That's the relationship between her and I. She calls me one day, random. I haven't spoken to her in years.
Your whole life is random.
I know. She's like, yo, I am casting for this show that you will be perfect for. It's called Hustle in Brooklyn. Just have the conversation. Because I was like, reality TV. Like, I was like, I'm not confrontational. I don't fight. I don't do none of that.
Right.
You know, rah-rah. So she was like, no, trust me. It's not going to be that. I'm like, okay, I'll have the conversation. I have the conversation. It goes to a round 2. It goes to a round 3. Then I find out. Mind you, E1 was where I was as a music executive.
Right, yeah.
But E1 is a company that is focused in music and TV film.
Yeah, TV.
E1 was producing this show.
Bro, that's crazy.
The TV film department reached out to the music department asking for music to sync for the show and asked the president, Alan Grumblatt.
That's right.
If you knew anybody that was he was like, I think Ivy would be great for this. You know how he speaks.
Yes.
And he hits me up. He's like, there's this show, Hustle in Brooklyn. I think you would be great. I said, you know what, Alan? I've already been having conversations with them.
Look at that.
And I just didn't know how to bring it up to you because I don't know how real this is. He was like, oh, it's real. I was like, well, now that you know what's happening, how can I do both?
Right.
He's like, I'll let you do the show if you make it about working here.
But of course.
Of course.
That's Light work for me.
So that was my storyline. It was me as a full-time hustler. That is my brand.
That is your brand.
That is my brand.
Yeah.
As I have dreams of being a personality, but I am trying to figure out my lane as a growing executive.
Right.
So that was my role there. And somehow, some way, the show became about, I'm Ivy and these are my friends. I narrated the show. I had billboards in Times Square, over 30 markets.
Did it all.
It was crazy. We went on press runs, Atlanta, Houston, this and that, city to city. And at the same time, I had a deal with Cavassier that started once the show premiered. So I was really on road. And I will never forget, like, that was the real hustling peak of my life. Because I would land at 6 a.m. rolling E1 with my suitcase. I got done, no excuses. I never lacked, ever. Ever.
Never.
I had a full-time job. A full-time job.
Say it louder.
A full-time job.
And still did everything else.
And did everything else that I wanted to do.
And I still will see you outside.
People didn't know what to do with me.
No.
I didn't even know what to do with me. I didn't even know what to do with me. But I was like,
yo,
listen,
Ivy,
this is an
you were
opportunity
figuring
I
it
cannot
out.
let loose.
No.
I could not let it loose.
But did you find it weird, though, right? Because you're on this show.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly felt like you was the only Latina on the show.
I was.
Is that weird for you?
No, I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
Really?
I'm used to it. I was the only Latina in my job. Well, besides Crits.
Yeah.
But she came like, oh, yeah, and Marlies, my bad. Oh, oops, I'm name dropping.
Wait. But, right.
Put a beep on that.
Yeah, we'll do that. No, but like, was that weird? Like, to occupy that space? And because you're one of the Latinas that I always say, like, you go across all markets. Like, you're not for one, for the other. You know, like, you're chilling.
I mean, the way that I was brought up, I mean, I'm born and raised in Bushwick, Brooklyn. It's very Caribbean influenced, you know what I'm saying? So I listen to as much Beanie Man as I listen to Tito Rojas.
Yeah.
You know, and I just always had that merge. I always had that blend. I always had that, you know how for every, there's always that one Puerto Rican friend.
Yeah.
I'm that
You the one Puerto Rican friend.
You know, so.
Are both your parents Puerto Rican?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm puro. And my parents were born and raised in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. So I'm New Yorican as.
You know what's so crazy? So Ivy and I went to DR for my birthday. Ivy and I went to Dominican Republic.
Let's clarify this. It was only Alyi and Ivy. Which was a very rare trip for the both of us.
For the both of us. Because you were like, this is my first trip where it's like...
+1.
+1. Like, I do girls trip. I don't do like a +1. And I'm like, Ivy, fuck with it real quick. I promise it's going to be a vibe. And...
She's like, all you need is your flight.
I said, just get the flight. And we go there. And he was like, Alyi, I'm surprised your Spanish ain't even flowing. I said, girl, when I get drinks, my Spanish just be out there. And then you start speaking Spanish, and I'm like, "Bitch, you talk Spanish." But that's what you. No, but you was giving those vibes like you really was trying.
No, I really do try,
and you don't even care how you sound.
I don't care
how you, and it's so crazy
because you know what I'm saying. Or trying to say at least, you know.
You
what
was
I'm saying?
like, hold it.
Necesita un carro a comida, por favor.
Yes. Like, but it's crazy because we often get looked as, well, Puerto Ricans don't really speak Spanish like that.
But we don't.
But we don't.
We don't.
But we be trying,
We
though.
be trying.
We be trying. It's the way we were raised.
It's
like,
the effort for me.
Listen, my household, mommy was speaking Spanish all the time.
Yeah.
But I would respond in English.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like...
My parents used the language against me. Like, they used it to talk about me. You know, they talked about family business, you know,
in Spanish.
Grown-up business. And I'd be like... And then I'm like, Ivy, go to your room, you're in trouble. And I'd be like, but what the hell did y'all discuss that all of a sudden I'm in trouble? Like, what? Y'all speaking in Da Vinci Code at this point?
Right.
Like, what's going on? But yeah, it was just something that like I wasn't really pressed to learn. They wasn't really pressed to teach me. And even it don't matter how many years of Spanish class I did in high school, it didn't translate.
No. But you,
Nosotros, vosotros, usted, whatever that means. Like,
but she was in DR. You was giving that language, baby.
Yes, you know what it is. Like, I feel like
you got everything.
Yo, I was speaking in
seriously,
español.
Aguacate,
por favor.
You already know how I feel about the aguacate story.
But I feel like after the group discussion that we had,
yes, it
changed your perspective.
It really did. It really did.
You was really mad at me about avocado. Like
I was.
It was crazy to me. I'm like, damn.
Like, why would you ask for that?
It's avocado.
If that's what you see,
tell the story because this sounds crazy right now.
No, it does.
You gotta tell the story. Go.
So we was in DR. You know what I'm saying? Resort vibes. And we're getting breakfast.
And we know I love breakfast.
Right. Ivy will get so pissed off. She's like, Alyi, I don't care if it's 12 noon. I need my breakfast. And I'm dead serious.
Si tú sabes con la café.
Right. She's like, Alyi, I don't care what excursion we're doing. I need breakfast. Like, yo, noted. Duly noted. So we go to the restaurant, we get breakfast, and it's like, eggs, like the home spread. Fried, the whole thing. So I'm like, yeah, let me get this, that. And Ivy is like, damn, I want avocado. And I'm like, well, that's serving that. And you was like, excuse me.
Avocado is avocado.
Right, it's avocado. ¿Tienes avocado? And I always bring this up. I'll never forget. He was like, no, where you guys sitting at? She was like, over there. And he comes, literally what, like 10 minutes later, sliced avocados. And you was at the top. You was like, you see, closed mouths don't get fed. I was like, this chick. You said sometimes you just need to ask for what you want, Alyi. And
that was a real lesson.
No, yeah. Right? I was like, she right or whatever, I guess.
And you had some too?
And now, I did, and it was so good. Right? Oh my God.
Yo, he drizzled it with olive oil.
Yo, he got it from the tree, girl.
Had minced peppers on top. He put love on that thing. It wasn't just avocado. Like, he had it.
Why was I so mad about that?
I don't know. Because I felt like...
Because I'm the opposite of you.
We were having like a personality clash.
Yeah,
we were having a personality clash. She was acting like I was asking for oxtails or something. I was asking for avocado. I was like, yo, this is Dominican Republic. I know y'all got avocado somewhere in here.
He was like, Alyi, that's not like a big ass.
It's not a big ass. It's avocado.
He was like, it's avocado. And I felt like, you're embarrassing. The whole trip.
I'm whole trip.
You're embarrassing.
She thought I was embarrassing her. But she left. And she can't stop talking about this trip.
I love that trip. I'm like, can we do it again?
Can't stop talking about that trip.
I love that trip.
I was like, embarrassing my ass.
Yeah. Yo, my ass. Liv. We was chilling. We was on the beach chairs, remember? And the wind blew the speaker. Remember?
Oh my God.
Ivy. There's like a whole thing. Like, you can't even cross.
No, it's like 7 feet.
Yeah.
Down.
Ivy with her water shoes. Now I'm going to get my speaker. I said, Ivy, what are you doing? No, I'm getting my speaker, Alyi. And I'm the friend that records. So I'm just recording it like, yo, this. Now she getting the speaker. This is her.
It was an adventure.
I was like, she's embarrassing me the entire trip. But I love that trip.
And I got the speaker back. Without a scratch.
And we was dancing. You remember when oh my God.
No,
the Spanish. The fucking Boricua in
my
her.
little speaker that I saved. We went to the discoteca. There was like a room for a party with a DJ. We thinking we gonna hear some authentic Dominican music. It was giving like Flow Rida. We like, what the hell is going on in here? Like, we want to hear some merengue, some dembow. We want to feel like we uptown, right? So I'm like, yo, let's just go back to our room. We got deli on
Heard
in the
you.
room. You know, I don't
Yes.
go nowhere without it.
Hello.
I was gonna bring it today, but I was like, let me not be crazy.
I knew.
We have a full
I
day
almost
of
felt it.
excursions.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, I got the playlist. What's good?
And you had the playlist for real.
I literally prepared it because I already know the vibes.
Yeah.
So I usually play DJ all the time, and we were in that room lit as hell because we done took mash shots of nasty ass Jose Cuervo. Sorry, disgusting.
Yes.
And we were so drunk, and I will never forget. We had a bed that had like the tall poles. And Alyi was holding on to the pole
for dear life.
For dear life. Stomping her
with
feet,
the heels.
Going with heels on in the hotel room.
Come on. I was really
sweating. Giving her all.
My all.
And I'm fist pumping with the speaker. Yo, we had a blast.
Yo, crazy.
By ourselves.
We saw the full moon. It was Jorge was on point.
Hey.
Yo, that was our guy. We had so much fun in DR.
Yo, amazing.
But every year I want to do it different. This year we're going to PR.
Period. I'm wherever you want me to be, sis.
Yeah.
And this time, let your hair down.
Ooh,
let your hair down, sis. Because I'm going to be asking
you. I know. I'm going
to be asking for.
Yo.
I was like, Jorge, we need jugo de naranja.
The Spanish is just flowing out of Ivy. I'm like,
necesitas jugo de naranja ahora.
Was that your first time in DR?
No.
But
that was my first time at a resort, and I didn't know how to act. Everything was free. I said,
you was like, wait, we're getting a dinner, and I can just get up and leave? I don't have to pay.
I don't have to bring my wallet.
It's paid for already. It's done.
I was like, I want this.
Yo, he was a savage. He was a savage. I was like, I care. No, it was great. It was great. So this year we're going to PR.
Okay.
That's the vibes.
Period.
So this year,
Rico.
Puerto Rico. Come on. When was the last time you went to Puerto Rico?
When he tried to do a surprise trip for me. A surprise birthday fail.
How is it a birthday fail?
Oh my God.
How?
How
do you fail on the...
This was the peak of my bag season.
Okay.
And he said, I'm going to let you tell it. I'm going to let you tell it. It was a peak of my bag season. And I had an opportunity with Mountain Dew.
That's a big bag. That's a bag.
And it was a surprise trip. I didn't know. But to this day, I regret saying yes to Mountain Dew.
Really?
Because I learned, my lesson was just honoring friendships and valuing time. There was a lot of time put into that trip that I overlooked because I was very selfish, you know? But he and a few other friends planned this big trip for me. He had the chef. We had the Airbnb. We even had DJ Steph Case spinning in Puerto Rico.
I'm like, I can't prep for Ivy interview. There's no prepping. She's my real friend in real life. So what am I prepping for? It's just a natural conversation for me.
Right. This is probably going to be your longest interview.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe that. You know we got to bring you back because you're going to forget about it. There's
we
so
didn't
much.
We didn't even cover everything.
No. There's so much. Spliff, did she tell you that we cry everywhere we go? We just cry. Like,
we literally cried
on the
podcast. Of this.
It's like, why? Why do we do this?
Because we're passionate.
Why do we do this? All right, I do have a couple questions. Okay, so I ask everybody this.
Of course.
What is the best thing about being a Latina?
The flavor, honey.
Ooh,
what you talking about?
Hello.
I have so much flair that I've tried to hinder and hide for so long, and I'm just so forward with it now because it was something that was undeniable about me. As much as I tried to cover it up, as shy as I tried to be, it was in me.
Right.
You know, and I just love how much personality we have, our food. the beauty, the diversity, you know, like there's all shades of us. And I feel like there's just so much pride, you know, especially being Puerto Rican. You know, like I can only speak for my culture. And it's so inspiring, you know, to see successful people come out of PR. Bad Bunny. That's the newest king of PR.
Come on now.
Even though Mark Anthony is untouchable.
Mark Anthony is the Puerto Rican flag for me.
He is.
I always say that.
Yes.
He's the Puerto Rican flag.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. I saw him in person.
Did you?
One time in my life at Club Love, girl.
You did? He went to Club Love?
He was at Club Love.
What is Mark Anthony doing at Club Love?
And he had a whole
Is he cool with
section.
Puff? Is he cool with Puff like that?
He had a whole section. It was him and a +1. It was not one person sitting next to him. I was like, this is the bossiest shit I have ever seen in my life. It was mad people crammed in one corner, and he was just there.
Like chilling.
Chilling. He was the guest of honor. Mark Anthony.
Did you go up to him? Did you like?
Oh, are you kidding me? What am I going to say?
You got to say something.
Like, just like J-Lo, what am I going to say?
Girl, that's your moment. That's when you say something.
And sometimes I just like people to be in their moment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you don't want to interrupt it. You're just like,
oh my God, big fan. Like,
yeah,
no.
Like, what do you say?
Like, what am I?
What do you say?
What do you say to Mark Anthony?
I mean, I would have a lot to say.
My heart was out my chest.
It's like if I met.
I was like, this is my only moment to really see him like in his element, and I'm just gonna stare at him from afar.
You could have at least shook his hand.
No. I just wanted to stare.
What about La India? Because you love La India.
I know. I haven't.
That's like your girl. Like you really love her. Like you fan out. Like low key fan out for her.
Remember, I was trying to book her for my mom's birthday. I felt like that was for me more than it was for my mom. Like I was like, I want La India. You and I, we were producing your mom's birthday, and we were like trying to figure it out. Like, what is gonna be the standout moment? I was like, nah, I need La India.
And you hit her up. I'm like, Ivy.
I'm shorty, like, yo.
And Ivy's reminding me, closed mouths don't get fed.
But she was booked. She was booked.
But that's
God bless.
La India.
Yeah.
She's always booked.
Always booked.
She's always booked. Okay.
What a queen.
So, what is the most difficult part, would you say, about being a Latina?
You know what's so crazy? I feel like there's always a lot of attention on the things that we are deprived on or overlooked from. But I really fight to like not have that perception, because I always say like, I am who I am because I am who I am, not because of my ethnicity. I don't like when people are like, she is the first Black athlete or the first Puerto Rican, singer. I am a singer. I'm elite.
Right.
Everything else is a cherry on top. You know, that's my perspective of it.
Right.
Granted, we are severely overlooked and severely included in so many things.
Right.
And that's probably the downfall of it. And I don't like that. As much as people are sensitive to the mockery of culture, we're the number one culture that gets mocked. Like, all the time.
And it's crazy.
They call everybody Juan, Javier, Maria. Like, God forbid, I rebuttal. Shoo, your chest gonna hurt, And I feel like people just laugh it off. Just with Asians, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where you don't even think about it. But I don't like that we get overlooked so much that we become a joke. We are like, oh, you don't matter. You're Spanish. You don't have no struggles. What you talking about?
And there's a lot of stigmas around us.
Too many.
Like, even with me, like, I live in the Bronx, so they're like, you're Puerto Rican and you're from the Bronx. You're crazy.
Everybody thinks I'm from the Bronx.
Really?
Everybody thinks I'm from the Bronx. You from Uptown? You from the Bronx? You from the... Why? Because I'm Spanish and ghetto? Which I fully embrace. I fully embrace.
Right.
Like, ghetto to me is beautiful. And it was something that I struggled with for a long time. I remember I had a person who meant a lot to me always use that as a sword. You ghetto. And it made me insecure about myself. fuck, I'm ghetto. Like, that's not good.
Right.
And I was like, actually, ghetto is the mood board.
Right.
Ghetto is the culture.
Come on.
Okay?
Come on.
The slang, the look, the earrings, the nameplate, the everything about me is that, you know?
So you embrace it. You don't care.
Why? It brought me this far. Literally. I bring all of me into everything I do.
Now, let me ask you, when you're in these meetings, right? Because you work with like the real higher ups, like for real, are there a lot of us? And by us, I mean, are there a lot of like Latinas or just like, or is it just you that's speaking for us? Like, what does that look like in those rooms?
I would say where I am now, you know where I am now, it
Right.
is nothing but a mix. You know, I barely see a white person, you know, and it's great. I've seen so much like change. Even when I was at E1, you know, there was a great blend of us.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of women too. There's a lot of women.
That's dope.
And the ratio is always like pleasing to see. And it's also something that I feel like I have to stand my ground on. Like, I only want to be in companies that empower this type of aesthetic.
Right.
And this type of strength and this type of mindset. Because we are the culture.
We certainly are.
We are the source.
I say we occupy so many spaces. It's crazy. Like, once you really like start dissecting who we are, like, we really are bosses. But you wouldn't see that because it's not in the forefront. Yeah, it's not.
But you know what? I don't care to be. I don't want to be in the forefront. No,
I don't want to be in the forefront, but I do want equal pay, though. I do want equal pay.
Yes.
Like, I want to see us be very well compensated for our work.
100%. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like that just comes with time and experience and really just going for it. Like, just say that with your chest.
I know you will, for us.
I have to.
Yeah, you will.
I have to. What?
With the aguacate on the side?
With the aguacate. I want the salary with a lifetime of avocado. Please.
All right. Now, what would you like to see change in the Latin market? It's a lot for me, but I'm interested in hearing what you have to say.
Segregation.
What does that mean?
I feel like Latinos are very picky about who they embrace or how they embrace. Puerto Ricans, and I'm sure other cultures experience the same thing. If you're too light, you're not Puerto Rican enough.
I hear that all the
time.
I literally hear that all the time.
I remember meeting my cousins in Puerto Rico. Obviously, they speak heavy Spanish, and I'm white as milk. And y esa gringa, who's this? I don't know who you are. Oh, you're my cousin? Huh? You know, it's a real thing. And that's rooted in, like, history. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is nothing new. And I'm sure that's in a lot of cultures.
1,000%.
You know, and I feel like now, like, Nicky Jam is a perfect example of a merge of culture in the Latino community. When he moved to Colombia and made himself whatever, he merged cultures that would never even like thinking of each other.
Yeah.
Because Colombians are Colombians and Puerto Ricans are Puerto Ricans. And I'm like, but we speak Espanol.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we are one. I like to think that we, like, Latinos and African Americans, Black people, we're one. Like, we that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say that. But yeah, I don't like to be classified. Like, you're Puerto Rican, you not Spanish enough, you not this. Like, don't tier me. Yeah. There's no hierarchy to being Latino.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really the gist of what I'm saying. Like,
and there's always like racism even within our own culture. Like, I always say I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican. And Puerto Rican and Dominicans are always arguing. And I'm like,
Yeah, that was a thing when I was young.
like, why are we arguing? Like,
it took me to go to high school with Dominicans to like Dominicans. And I didn't even know why I didn't like Dominicans. I was just like,
but you never
if you didn't like them, I don't like them either.
Half of the time we hate things and we don't
know why.
We don't know why.
We don't know why.
We don't know why we hate them, why we're like even like upset. Like we just don't even understand. And I'm like, well, my mom and my dad fell in love. So obviously there was love there.
There's a merge.
There's a merge.
There's
right?
possibilities.
But the culture is different for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, the time is different too. So
the time is different. I think is a new wave. Like now the whole thing with like Latinx.
mm-hmm.
Like what is Latinx?
Something to make white people feel comfortable. Oops.
Ooh.
Oops.
Right. But right. Because I'm like there, like I don't know.
Like, and there's also a difference between being Latina and being Hispanic. Which I don't
Wait, what
I don't
do you
really
mean
understand.
by that?
I was under the impression that like being Latin is from a certain part of the globe.
Like South America? Like
Central South.
Okay.
And then the rest is Hispanic. Hispaniola. I don't know. I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Don't ask me no more questions. I don't like answering questions that I am naive to. Because like I said, if I don't like something or if I like something, I need a valid point behind it. I can't.
Right.
It's my fault for not learning much history. But I'll get there one day.
But when someone asks, who are you? Who is Alyi V Rivera? What do you say?
Puerto Rican. Alyi V from the block.
From the block.
Alyi V from the super block.
Yo, you really have that story. Like, you really do.
Mm-hmm.
You was really riding the train.
Yo, the train, the bus.
Like, you had the Metro
bus
card.
in the snow. Toes blue. Like, thugging it. This life was not easy for me at all.
But you make it look so flawless.
Because what am I going to do? Cry?
No.
What am I going to do? Beg for change?
No.
I'm going to figure it out just like everybody else is figuring it out. Everybody else has their own hurdles and trials and tribulations that they're going through. I'm not putting my pain on somebody else's pain. That's unfair.
Yeah.
You know, I had to figure it out my own fair way. And I struggled a lot.
You really did.
I struggled a lot. I remember there was a summer I couldn't even go outside because I had no choice. I had no money. No money. Like, I am the first in my family to really, like, break that mold.
Like, do this.
If not me, then who? Like, I'm going for everything. I'm trying to change my life.
I feel that.
Like,
and that's why we always cry.
Yeah.
Because we can't even believe it.
It means that much to me. It means that much to you. And that's why we always come to this point. Because
But I always say, too, is like, it means even more when your real friends are winning and you win with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we were in Miami, you were doing your own thing. And then I was like, yo, sis, come through to my event. And we met up.
Mm-hmm. And I brought like 4 bottles of Leon.
And we made the most.
We made the movie. We was placing those bottles everywhere. Like that was flooded. Like,
come on
content me.
I feel like you've done a lot.
I mean.
But I also feel like you're not done.
Not at all.
Right?
I'm in the phase of doing a real self-audit. And what that means is I'm just breaking down my life, who I am, and who I want to be, and what am I doing to get there? What tweaks do I have to make sure I'm securing my life for the rest of it? I'm literally about to enter a new phase of my life. And it is up to solely me to ensure that my future is as bright as I envision it in my head. And I've always had like confusion. Like, I've always been a coaster. You know, I'm coasting. I made it here. All right, cool. I got this. I made it here. I'm cool. I got this. I have so many great opportunities on my lap right now. Mm-hmm. I'm in the middle of my wildest dreams. I'm working for Combs Enterprises. I got Apple Music. I got Power 105, you know, and I'm not, I personally feel like I'm not the bully that I was before I got here. How do I maximize every platform that I have? I'm just there. I don't want to be there. I want to be the top of everything. I need to be the star player on every platform I'm at. I don't just want to exist.
Right.
Oh, Ivy's on overnights. No, I could be prime time in 2 months if I really
wanted
now. That.
Come on now.
You know?
We want that for you, by the way.
I know.
We do.
But what am I doing to make that happen? So now I'm just taking all my cards, laying them out in front of me, and like, what hand do I want to play first? How do I play this hand? And how long do I play this hand before I use my other weapon? You know what I'm saying? And that's where I am right now. I have all this stuff. I got all the fruit, the groceries that I got, and I got to organize it. Now I'm in organized mode. You know, like I'm trying to really up myself, you know, like I'm trying to buy a crib. I'm trying to get into ownership. I'm trying to finally get a license. Like I have so much growing up to do.
Seriously.
Like literally. But I'm pushing myself there. I'm like, I've even been working out, sis.
Yo,
and these are hurdles that like I literally made excuses for no reason.
For like,
but nothing. Why? For nothing.
When you canceled on me, because you know I got to say that. Because you did in the beginning on the show. Mm-hmm. It was because you're in the process of getting your license. I was a little mad, but then I'm like, how could I really be mad?
I canceled. This is like with good reason.
Am I mad because she's bettering herself? Because she wants more for herself? Like, why am I so upset? So I had to check myself, not gonna lie. I'm glad we rescheduled, but I'm really proud of you because you really are like making these next step life changes. Are you in like therapy at all? Because I always ask and like figure out like, I wonder how Ivy really like.
I talk to God.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because there's so much energy you get your way. So like, how do you?
I don't know. I really feel like I'm anointed, to be honest. Yeah. And I don't even want to be like, no, preachy. But like, I've always felt blessed. I always felt like I had God's favor on my side. And I have real conversations like, yo, I fail at thanking him every day, but he knows my heart.
Right.
You know? And when I do speak to him, I don't ask him for nothing. I just pray that he always keeps me in the direction to know that he is here and he has it handled. Right. Like, I have a real problem of trying to be in control of everything. Mm-hmm. And when it's not going my way, I'm like, oh no, what do I do?
Right.
But I always make it to the finish line, and it's because it's already written.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. And I walk in that every day, like knowing that God got me. When Khaled came out with they didn't believe in me, God did. I felt that so heavy. I was like, yes.
Word.
Amen. And I'm not even like religious and nothing like that, but I truly believe there is something beyond me that keeps blessing me. They see it and I walk toward it. Yeah. I always tell God, I am open to receiving whatever you want in my life. I will do whatever it is you need me to do. If you're going to give me this reward, I want to earn it. Mm-hmm. You know? And just know I will always do whatever it takes. But I'm always open to getting to the next level of my life, which means you have to make tweaks. You need to do those self-audits. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You cannot go to the next level being the same. Look at the people around you. Look at within yourself. What is it that is stopping you from being everything you want to be? You know, so I always do self-audits often.
Right.
I think about myself a lot. There's so many things that I'm still working towards. There's so many things that I still have to improve on, but I'm actively doing it. I know my flaws. That's half the battle. People are in denial.
Yeah, they don't even recognize it.
I'm not stubborn. I'm not rah, 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 rah.
Right.
I'm never going to talk about what I don't have because I have so much more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I have a undying hunger for everything. For everything. And that's
really
not even
do.
like in my career. I mean, I want the highest level of love. I want the highest level of success. I want the highest level of stability. I want the highest level of happiness. I want the highest level of health. I want the highest level of literally everything that exists in this world.
Does Ivy want a family? Like, would you like does kids ever come up in your?
I feel like the challenge with children, I feel like as a young Puerto Rican, you always want to be a mom.
Right.
I would love to have a baby Ivy, but I would love to secure a man that makes me feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to be a baby mother. And
course,
I cannot control what that means for me, but I want to at least ensure that wherever the future goes for me, if I have a child with a man, that I'm not doing this alone. And that God will set me up with somebody who has that aligned vision with me, you know, at least to take care of what he has to take care of.
That's a fact. I always say that as well. I'm like, I am not doing this alone. This is a team effort, and we're not doing this. But I always struggle with it, too, because I'm like, do I really want a family? I'm not sure. But then I'm always like, oh, what if I get old? Who's going to take care of me?
But that's another thing.
That's like the thing
you don't
that
have children to take care of you. You have children to make them better versions of who you ever was.
That's true. That's true.
You literally, their responsibility is not you. Their responsibility is to be free and live their dreams. And your responsibility is to support that. They didn't ask to be here. You wanted that.
You're right. You're right.
That's that.
I think about it because when I look at my mom, I'm like, you know, she did the best that she could with what she had. And then I almost feel like a responsibility to take care of my mom.
But
so I always say I don't have a kid, but I have a big kid. Like my mom is like my big kid.
My family are my children.
Yeah.
My baby brother is my child.
And you love.
Oh, I will.
Like you
anybody
ride for them.
I will. Don't even snicker at my brother. I'm beating you up. Beating you up. Yeah. And that's with anybody in my life that I love. I'm front line.
But one of the things about you is like you have like this superpower where you make everyone feel exclusive. Mm-hmm. It's like really dope.
Because you are.
You have that in you. Like it's just so weird but cool at the same time.
Yeah.
Like the way you even text is like you make that person feel special. And not everyone, okay, stop it. But not everybody could do that.
Yeah.
Because life kind of goes fast and you're like, okay, yeah, sure. But you like take the time to really respond. Mm-hmm. Or like when you see someone, you really take the time to like say hi, give them a hug. Like you make people feel important and special and exclusive and all the things.
Because that's my gift.
That is.
My gift is people. Like people ask me like, what is it that you want to do? I was like, I don't know, but it always involves people. Being loved by so many people has gotten me here because people would just throw opportunity my way. Oh, Ivy got to do this. Ivy. And it's not even that I'm not prepared for it. It's just that people are excited to give it to me.
Because we want to see you win, Ivy.
Yeah. And I do the work, you know?
You really do. Like, you're the type of person, like, if I refer you to a job, I know you're not going to embarrass me. Mm-hmm. Like, I know you're going to see it through. Mm-hmm. So I feel like your story, like, everybody wants to see you.
I love that for me. Thank you, guys.
Listen, girl, I cannot tell you how proud of you I am. Like,
Thank you.
I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I don't want to do this again. But I am so, like, I have to publicly say it. I know I say it privately, but, like, on a public platform, I have to say that I am genuinely proud of you. And I know as a Latina, we always say, that's my cousin, that's my cousin. You are my sister. You are really my sister, and I love you so much.
I love you too.
Like,
Jesus Christ. Let's not let the tears
I'm gonna leave it at that because
Yes,
I can't do this anymore. But
thank you for having me.
no, thank you for. You didn't even question what this show was about.
Because you about your business. I know you're not gonna have me talking about peas and carrots. Like
No, yeah. No, thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming through. Let everybody know where they can follow you. Any last words that you want to say? Because you have like a cult like following, like for real. So like, speak to your audience.
I don't know what camera to look at, but I'm gonna just look at this.
So that's your camera.
Okay, cool.
And that's the wide. So whichever one.
I'm gonna just do like this.
Heard you.
Okay.
Yeah. Go on,
gentlemen. This is Growing Up Latina with my sis, Alyi V. I'm Ivy. Alyi and Ivy.
Alyi and Ivy.
It was a pleasure to be here, and I hope that you learned something or walked away inspired. You can follow me if you don't already at the Ivy Rivera. That's THEIVYRIVERA. But
I'm done.
Any last words that I have? I don't know. Be great. Don't be afraid of yourself because you can't be afraid of nothing else. You know what I'm saying? You are always in the way, one step away from your biggest dreams. So if you're hearing this, go for it. Love.
Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe to the show, Growing Up Latina. Ivy, I love you.
I love you.
Thank you so much.
You're ready. Cheers.